Vans are small commercial vehicles with a closed body. These cars became especially popular in the 50s, after the launch of a series of small cargo and passenger vans transporter, which will be carried out by Volkswagen in March 1950. In the wake of the success of Transporter 1, many leading world automobile companies will release their own similar vans. These will be DKWF 89L, Mercedes-Benz L319, Renault Estafette, Ford Thames 400e, Alfa Romeo. Since 1958, the production of similar transport will begin behind the Iron Curtain in socialist Poland, where the production of vans Nysa and Zug will be launched at automobile factories in the cities of Nysa and Lublin. In the Soviet Union, they will also try to keep up with global automotive trends, and in 1959, they will establish the production of vans and minibuses at the automobile factory in Riga, RAF 977. And what about Ukraine? It was still Soviet then. There were also attempts to build similar cars here, and this was done both under the centralized ministerial program and on the initiative of local design departments. The first attempt to produce serial vans was made in Lviv in 1949, and not just any vans, but completely electric, when there were still 22 years left before the birth of Elon Musk. The basis for the Lviv vans was the experimental electric car NAMI 750, developed by the Scientific Automobile and Motor Institute. At the Lviv bus plant, the model was called LAZ-750. A small trial batch of these cars in the amount of 20 units was to be manufactured by the end of 1951. 10 pieces of the smaller LAZ-750 model with a carrying capacity of 500 kilograms, and another 10 LAZ-751 with a carrying capacity of 1.5 tons. In total, according to the program, it was planned to produce 1,000 such vans. The cars were to be used in the postal service to deliver letters from mailboxes to the main post office. The van was equipped with 2 direct current electric motors with a total power of 3.2 kilowatts for the LAZ-750 and 6 kilowatts for the 1.5-ton LAZ-751. The motors were located above the rear drive axle and drove it using an individual cardan and single-stage gears with internal meshing. Thanks to 2 independent drives, there was no need for an interwheel differential. The electric motors were powered by 40 batteries placed on the frame under the bottom of the van. Inspection and maintenance of the batteries was carried out through hatches. Their installation or dismantling was carried out through side hinge doors. To compensate for the excessive mass of the lead batteries, the spatial truss of the car frame was made of aluminum alloy profiles, which were connected using rivets. The metal sheet that covered the top of the frame formed the floor in the cargo compartment of the body. The front part of the car cabin was also sheathed with a metal sheet. The side walls of the spatial frame were sheathed with thin sheets made of Avialu, a specialized aluminum alloy used in aircraft construction. The van frame, made of wooden bars and sheathed with plywood sheets, was rigidly attached to the supporting base of the car. The use of materials such as wood and aluminum in the design will reduce the weight of the vans and maintain dynamic performance at a relatively good level, 33 kilometers per hour with a range of 50 kilometers on a single charge. To reduce production costs and operating costs, the cars were designed with maximum use of components and parts of serial cars, GAZ M20 Pobeda, GAZ AA, and GAZ 51. The vans will be equipped with only one round headlight located in the center of the front panel. In order to make loading and unloading operations as convenient as possible, 2 doors were installed on each side of the body, which were slid under the roof. The top of the van was additionally covered with Dermantine to protect it from rain. In order to increase the service life of the body, the wooden frame was treated with drying oil and varnished on top. To enable intermediate recharging during the flight, the LAZ designers designed small silicon rectifiers that allowed using a regular 220-volt outlet. The LAZ-750 will have relatively compact overall dimensions: 3 meters 90 centimeters long, 1 meter 60 centimeters wide, and 1 meter 90 centimeters high. The weight of the van will reach 1 ton 975 kilograms. The 1.5-ton version of the LAZ-751 will have significantly increased dimensions. Length 4 meters 60 centimeters, width 1 meter 90 centimeters. Height will increase to exactly 2 meters, and weight will increase to 2 tons 800 kilograms. In addition to the overall dimensions, the LAZ-751 will have certain structural differences. The number of batteries will be increased to 42, instead of 40 on the LAZ-750. Also, the 1.5-ton trucks will be equipped with additional rear doors, which will facilitate loading and unloading. Technical characteristics will be improved. The range on a single battery charge will increase to 70 kilometers. However, the maximum speed will decrease to 30 kilometers per hour. Already during operation, it will turn out that the batteries are the weak point of these electric vans. The already small capacity of lead-acid batteries in winter fell even more, which significantly reduced the range of cars. Also, the batteries could withstand only 200 to 300 charging cycles and were enough for 20,000 kilometers, and the replacement was quite expensive. The problem was partially solved by installing new nickel-iron batteries. However, this will have little effect on the automotive department, which will decide to close the program for building electric vans, the production of which will be twice as expensive as the heavier ZAZ-51 trucks in its class. The next attempt to build vans, this time with conventional internal combustion engines, will be carried out in 1961 at the Zaporozhye automobile plant, better known as the Communar. It was this plant in Zaporozhye that became our Volkswagen, where a simple and most importantly affordable people's car ZAZ-970 Zaporozhets will be built, an analog of the German people's car Volkswagen Käfer. But there is another little-known fact from the history of ZAZ. In Zaporozhye, they built not only the popular Zaporozhets, but also sought to create their own compact van, which could repeat the path of success of the Volkswagen transporter van, which was just conquering the automobile markets of the Western world. The first creation of the ZAZ initiative team in the world of vans will be the ZAZ-970 model, which will be built in 1961. For the characteristic semicircular shape of the front end, the car will receive the unofficial name Tochilo. The following year, in 1962, the van will receive a wagon-shaped body. The family will be based on the components and assemblies of the passenger Zaporozhets. The air-cooled MEMZ 966 engine, with a volume of 877 cubic centimeters and a power of 27 horsepower, will be located in the stern of the car. The van will have an independent suspension, torsion on the front axle, and spring on the rear. To increase the torque ratio, additional gearboxes were installed on the hubs of the rear drive wheels. The 971st ZAZ could reach a maximum speed of 70 kilometers per hour, and the average fuel consumption did not exceed 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers. The ZAZ-970 family included several models. The all-metal van ZAZ-970B, with a carrying capacity of 350 kilograms and a cargo compartment volume of 2.5 cubic meters. Loading and unloading was carried out through double-leaf doors on the starboard side and an additional door in the rear of the car. Access to the cargo compartment was hindered by the engine hump, which protruded into the engine compartment. There were also variants of the model with single-leaf doors. The cargo compartment was separated from the cabin by a blank partition. On the basis of the van, the cargo passenger ZAZ-970V, VE, for 7 passengers, and the onboard pickup ZAZ-970G, GE, with a carrying capacity of 400 kilograms will be created. An all-wheel drive version of the car will also be created, ZAZ-971, which will be built in 2 versions, elongated and shortened. The elongated one, as planned, was to become a compact truck for use in rural areas, and the 971 with a short base was to be used as a military all-wheel drive vehicle, which, with a mass of 750 kilograms, can be easily transported by air. The SUV had an open body made of simple stamped panels and a canvas top. All ZAZ vans will successfully pass tests at automobile testing grounds near Zaporizhzhia. But due to a lack of funding and production capacity, the pickup truck project will be closed, and all lines of the Communar plant will be occupied with the production of the ZAZ-965 Zaporozhets, while the ZAZ design department will focus on the development of the ZAZ-967 amphibious all-terrain vehicle, the serial production of which will later be established at the Lutsk automobile plant. Thus, the dream of ZAZ designers about their Zaporizhia van, which will repeat the success of the Volkswagen Transporter, will never come true, remaining at the level of individual prototypes of the ZAZ-970 and ZAZ-971 models.